Hello all! How's it going, everybody? Rezi RNG here, y'all's favorite orange, music-loving, yarn-spinning catboy. Back for yet another round of music talk. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, everybody. I hope you have had a decent week. You know, in spite of all the horrors going on right now, if you're living in the old US of A, you know, I've just sort of been trying to keep my head down and make my way through it. You know, working my day job, continuing to write for the Glam Metal Part 2 script, which is really close to being done, by the way. I think I just have to write the outro for that, and I'm basically home free there. I'm really excited to hopefully get started on that, on the recording and the editing process for that real soon, and have it out by, God, I wanted it to be out by March, but I fear that it may be another 4-hour-long video, which, God help me, but you guys are gonna be eating. I'm gonna have to suffer editing through that mess. But yeah, just to let you know, it's gonna be a big one right from the jump. What was I gonna say? Yeah, look forward to more updates on that soon, and of course, as always, I'll have the rough draft on that up on my Patreon when it's ready to go. I don't know. I'll have to try and record a cover to go along with that. I've usually done that in the past. I've recorded covers to go along with my script drops, just as a way to build hype for the coming voiceover editing process. I don't know, it's a cute little tradition I do, and I like to uphold cute little traditions like that. Anyways, without further preamble, my guest today, I think I discovered this guy again on Blue Sky. Blue Sky is such a cool, flourishing community right now of passionate artists, and he's got a really neat aesthetic about him. I mean, granted, his color scheme is definitely very mid-2000s, a video game character like Shadow the Hedgehog, Ryuko of Kill la Kill design, but I love that sort of aesthetic. Who amongst us does not think that red and black is a cool set of colors when paired together? Yeah, this guy, he's a guitarist, he is an arranger, he does VGM covers on his YouTube channel, and he's just an overall very interesting talent. So, would you all please welcome me in joining Merton? Or
hey there.
Please join me in welcoming Merton. I got those words confused there. Welcome to the stream, Merton.
Pleasure to be here, man.
So usually I like to start these things off by opening the floor to my guest. And I like to do that by asking, what sparked your passion for music? Because, it's one thing to sort of have a casual relationship with it, listening to it on the radio or on the side or what have you. It's another thing entirely to be like a Vtuber composing VGM covers and, other sorts of metal stuff like that. So I guess how did your journey there start?
Well, it's funny you say that. I'm gonna kind of rewind about 21 years ago, give or take.
Sure thing.
I remember, yeah, it's way back. I remember being in my old apartment, with my mom and whatnot. I was listening to a lot of just some video game music, namely Mega Man X3, if you're familiar with that one.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, that game I still maintain it's got like some of the best music in the series, and that's probably part of the reason why I love that kind of music in general. But I remember sitting there in my room one day. I was listening to certain songs within that game, and there was one. I think it was like the sort of ending theme. It was before the whole cast of characters and stuff came up.
Yeah.
I was listening to the ending theme a couple times, and I just say, you know what? I'm just gonna go into my closet real quick, and I'm gonna pull out this little itty bitty student size learner's guitar. Which, if I still had it today, it almost looked like a slightly overgrown ukulele compared to me right now. No, but I just say, I'm just gonna pull this thing out. And I'm gonna play that song back, and I'm gonna attempt to try to play that whole main melody by ear. And I think I got reasonably close, and it was right there that some just kind of clicked. I was like, yeah, I could get into this.
Oh, so it was like the video game music that inspired you to pick up the guitar in the first. That's really cool.
Well, there's actually something else on top of that. I mean, of course, me being young and whatnot, I was getting into other types of music, mostly metal. I distinctly remember my sister's now ex-boyfriend giving me this orange MP3 mix CD. Any y'all remember that? big MP3 CDs. Before the days
I used to burn my own on iTunes.
Okay. Yeah, I've had my fair share over the years, but thanks to stuff like YouTube, Spotify, Bandcamp, and all that, this is a lot easier to get a hold of. But no, this MP3 mix CD he gave me, it had like a bunch of different bands on there, and one of those bands, and it's gonna kind of show my age a little bit, was Slipknot. It was one of those gateway bands for me. I mean, I started listening to songs like I think it was something off of Volume 3. I think it was like Duality or I forget. And I was just like, I could definitely get into this. And then it just kind of kept going down from there. And I also from the same guy who gave me that mix CD, he also had a copy of Slipknot's live Disaster Pieces DVD, and also at the time I got this toy electric guitar from a kid that I used to go to school with. He wasn't using it. He said, "Yeah, sure, you can have it." So I took that thing home. I think I put on the Disaster Pieces DVD, and the very first song that came up, because I think on that DVD there was like 2 songs on there. And actually switch between the cameras of the 9 members there, and I picked one of the guitarists there, and I just had that guitar on me. I was just sitting there, just kind of headbanging along with him, and trying to do the whole fingering positions thing, just trying to mimic that. And then it was the gears started turning. I'm like, that's it.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, learning imitation is the best form of not flattery, but in this case, I guess learning. I remember like fucking, what was it? I don't know if it was like the Jonas, but like I think it was the drummer of the Naked Brothers band or something like that, of all bands. At one point, I think said they got into learning the drums just by watching, Ringo Starr go at it and such. There is a certain truth to, like, I guess, learning through others, own technique. I got into it myself personally, like playing the Rock Band and Guitar Hero games. I picked up the drums because I really connected with the rhythmic aspect of those games, but it's always been hard for me to try and go at like any further than that with like guitar or bass, because like tonal instruments are a bitch to practice, man. I'm sure like.
That they can be. I mean, I like to think that I'm kind of sort of decent at it after almost 20 years of just basically sitting in my room and just noodling away. I mean, I'm not claiming to be some like bedroom shredder. I'm just kind of fiddling around with it every now and then.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's always good to have like some sort. Like, I don't claim to be a pro drummer either. I mean, I've taken rock and jazz lessons, and I'd like to think I'm pretty damn solid at holding down a beat and keeping the pocket. But I do not think of myself as like, I don't know. I could never be like a Neil Peart or even Mitch Mitchell, the drummer that I look up to the most, the guy who from like the fucking Hendrix Experience. Like he is just so fucking good.
It was
I
in there.
yeah, I don't know. I just like it. I'm at a certain level with my musicianship, and I would love, to continue to get better and improve my practice regimen. But at the same time, I am also an adult now with responsibilities and my own IRL jobs, and I'm keeping
Oh
this
yeah.
channel running. So it's a lot of things. I'm tugged many different ways.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling all too well. I mean, the thing that I kind of do on my channel. I mean, if you don't mind me kind of plugging
Oh
myself a
no,
little
of
bit.
course.
Well, I mean, my whole thing, my whole shtick, if you will, is that I do a lot of video game music covers, and I guess
Right.
story that I told before about playing that one thing from Mega Man X3, that was something that kind of sort of pushed me towards wanting to do that, just because I think it's fun. But
Yeah.
that's something I started getting back into in recent years because I've been kind of out of it. Again, just having to do a 9 to 5, or rather in my case, it's doing a couple of 10-hour shifts at wee hours in the morning. And it's like, man, I gotta set some time aside to try to get back into this. But then I go something else you was saying about how you got into playing drums, but you can never really grasp playing guitar or bass or whatever it is. I'm kind of the opposite, actually.
Yeah.
It's funny that I mean, whenever I try to sit there and think of some stuff, I mean, I can think drums, but I can't actually play them.
Yeah. I will say, it's a lot of hand-eye coordination that, like,
And I
a
don't
lot
have
of
any of
limb
that.
coordination that's like, I mean, it's different from the way you got to coordinate on guitar because, like, there's a lot of dexterity involved with your fingers and such, but, like,
Oh
with
yeah.
drums, you got to know how to, like, move your right arm, your left arm, your right foot, and your left foot in, you got to make them independent as possible to, like, really really unlock the full possibilities of, like, jazz or rock techniques. Like, fucking the stuff that, like, Danny Carey of Tool does, for instance, like with
Great
his
guy.
wild kick drumming and tom skills and like just like everything about him, like that is years of like dedicated practice and discipline and all of that. Like,
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the last time I remember trying to play drums was about maybe 14, 15 years ago. I was hanging out with a couple of buddies of mine. We was just jamming and stuff. And of course, one of my friends, he had his drum set in there, and I went up there and was playing it a bit. And I knew right then and there that my limbs were not going to operate by themselves. I mean, it's like you put me behind the kit, I just lock up.
Yeah. No, it is. It can be very intimidating, especially like if you like. The thing with drums is that you got to learn how to really loosen up your arms and like sort of play off the bounce more than like throwing your arm into it, if that makes sense. Like, it takes some time to really adjust to like letting gravity really do the work, but like it is like, I don't know, it's a very there is a lot of power that can go into playing the drums, but you've got to learn to control that power, or else like I don't know, it can very easily spiral out of control real quick. I've learned that
especially
lesson.
especially with more, I guess, progressive, styles of music where you're
Absolutely
not only shifting back and forth between different type signatures. It's like, all right, so we got this, pretty soft sort of jazzy part coming up, and then I don't know, a little bit later on, it gets a little bit, heavier, a little bit more ham-fisted. It's like you're just constantly going back and forth. It's like,
yeah. So, you sent me a list of some of your favorite artists or whatever before the stream to give me an idea, like, sort of your taste. And I saw you've got quite a bit of heavy metal on there, which, I respect. I'm also quite a bit of a metalhead myself. What's your favorite metal subgenre?
Oh, man. See, that's the thing. I got a bunch of favorite metal
Yeah.
subgenres that I love. Whether it be like thrash or death, new metal, industrial, progressive stuff like that. More melodic stuff. Even like some like old school heavy metal.
Oh
you know,
yeah.
like, the stuff you hear in like the 70s and 80s and all that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a big 70s heavy metal guy. Like I love that sort of early proto sound, very bluesy, very psychedelic inspired. Now it's also why I love like stoner rock and like sort of the later like psychedelic influenced metal too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you listened much King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard at all, but like their metal stuff is really fun.
I've actually been meaning to check those guys out. I mean, I've seen the name pop up a couple times, and I never really thought to myself, maybe I should sit down and listen to these dudes.
I've
heard a couple of friends of mine just go on about them.
I would definitely recommend checking them out, if only like for like their heaviest stuff, like Nonagon Infinity, Murder of the Universe, Infest the Rat's Nest, Petrodragonic Apocalypse. Those albums are like, I don't know, they're like, I think retro revivalist rock metal done right, very with love and respect, and like with a means to put their own little sort of modern spin on it by incorporating other sorts of influences from they're a very multifaceted band, King Gizzard. They play a lot of genres.
Yeah, I think I should definitely check those guys out. I mean, apart from the metal stuff, it's funny that kind of going back to when I was listening to a lot of metal, just growing up as a kid. I always thought that the stuff that I listened to is like some of the best stuff out there. But I guess as time goes on, tastes change and whatnot, and you start to kind of branch out a little bit.
Yeah.
Started listening to some stuff that incorporate more clean singing, more cleaner guitar passages, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just like, good thing I didn't, I guess pigeonhole myself into like one little section of that kind of music. I just kind of needed to, expand a little bit.
Yeah,
get a feel for like different styles and whatnot.
Absolutely. It's always good to have an open mind with music, I think. Especially nowadays where it feels like,
oh yeah,
like with genres, it's hard to really create new genres these days, because I feel like we're seeing a lot of mixing going on between the various genres and sort of melding of various sounds from the past. Like we're sort of trying to create a new cultural horizon by combining everything we've already got into new configurations.
Oh yeah. There's some that work, and some others that don't.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely.
You can at least try though.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. When I went to Cat College, right, I was a music major, and I studied, a bunch of theory and stuff, and I just sort of, I don't know, I really came away with it with an appreciation just objectively with, all the sorts of things that people try to do with music. Because, it's like, how to say, I don't know. I kind of liken it maybe a bit to like the scene in The Matrix at the end where like Neo sees the actual code of it through like Agent Smith and all that. Where it's like,
oh yeah,
I don't know. Once you sort of understand the nitty gritty of music, all the sort of ego of it, I think, falls away with like, oh, this genre outright sucks. Like, I don't know, like.
Yeah, it's like you get a better appreciation of what people are doing.
Yeah,
I guess.
I try to keep an open
or better
mind.
Understanding, I guess.
I try to keep an open mind for all genres, even country nowadays. As much as the old reputation might not afford that.
Even going further back than that, I think was it like the first 9 or so years of my life, I kind of grew up listening to a lot of country, stuff like
yeah.
Alan Jackson, Garth Brooks, George Strait, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I try not to that much anymore, but unfortunately, where I work at, I mean, I just can't avoid it.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it happens. And
right. But I mean, I don't know, like, it's fun as a musician getting to have like such a wide taste and appreciation for all these different genres and subgenres, because then in your own work you can take all those bits and pieces that you've gathered and sort of fuse them into your own work. I really love being able to, like, I don't know. We'll probably get into songwriting more later, but
that's gonna be fun.
I was gonna say, do you have any like least favorite metal subgenres? What are your thoughts on glam metal?
What funny thing is that I mean there's some I guess glam and hair metal bands that I'm aware of, like White Snake, rest in peace, John Sykes.
Oh yeah, all right.
And oddly enough, I was actually watching another channel do like a Motley Crue album rankings, and yeah, they're a little bit all over the place. But I mean, and even then, going back to glam metal, and I think one of the coolest things that that it could possibly be is someone who's getting into music is actually having parents who, well, I don't want to necessarily say listen to the same kind of music that we do, but that kind of have some albums and whatnot that can kind of push you in we kind of push you down the path in a certain type of music. Like for example, my mom, she's got a bunch of vinyl and stuff. I mean, most of it's like oldies and country and stuff like that. But I mean, apart from, I think she's got a copy of Thriller by Michael Jackson.
Nice.
I mean, pretty much everybody's got that album.
Like 20 million plus copies sold or some shit.
At that, yeah. But no, apart from that, I think she's also had a couple of tapes, stuff like Judas Priest, Offenders of the Faith. I think she also had a Black Sabbath, Mob Rules. That's how I actually got into Black Sabbath and Ryan James Dio. Rest in peace.
Nice, yeah.
But she also had another. She also had a vinyl of Warrant. I think it was.
Nice.
What's that Dirty
Rotten Filthy Stinking Rich or something like that?
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Yeah. It's I have mixed thoughts on Warrant. I mean, like, I don't know, it's like a lot of those late period glam I like glam metal overall. I wouldn't be doing a fucking 3-part documentary series on my channel about it if not, but there's like, I don't know, a lot of the earlier glam stuff is a lot more, I don't know, there's a lot more to chew onto in terms of technicality, in terms of like songwriting precision, in terms of like, I don't know, just being more true to like the grittiness of metal than like a lot of the stuff that came later. Like,
definitely.
I don't know, like Poison, Warrant, like a lot of the softer bands that focused a lot more on like marketing the ballads and all that stuff. I don't know.
The ballads. They're really so cheesy though.
Yeah. I mean, I can appreciate them in terms of the whole like drunk karaoke, sing at a bar factor of it all, but like
I swear, if I ever have to listen to someone sing was it Every Rose Has Its Thorn one more time,
oh my god. For me, the most hilarious like power ballad from back then is fucking like, what is it? Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone.
Oh my god!
Fucking Tom Kiefer's voice. I don't tell you, baby. Like fucking, he sounds like a fucking Muppet.
Oh man, that's good. No, but honestly, I mean, I'm familiar with a few of those bands. You know, like the ones I mentioned. What's
Yeah.
another one? I don't know if I want to say Dokken was up there too.
Oh, I love Dokken.
But yeah, I get you about them, like the early days where it was just more focused on like the songwriting and the guitar playing and all that. You know, just trying to be like the next Eddie Van Halen. Also,
Yeah.
I should stop doing that.
Oh well, we've lost a lot of great ones. You know, it's
Oh
it's a
God,
shame.
yeah.
What was I
Yeah,
gonna
it
say?
is.
Yeah, no, it sucks because like as soon as glam metal really took off, and you know, especially with Bon Jovi getting like the big success that they did with Slippery When Wet, like that
Uh-huh.
really turned glam metal more into like, I guess, like more of an industry like marketing aesthetic in a
Oh yeah.
sense, because like so many other bands sort of got marketed as glam metal when they really kind of weren't. Like I think Queensryche at one point had like all the big hair and stuff like that, and like fucking
Oh
Enough's
yeah.
Enough, they were more of like a psychedelic power pop thing, and like
What about was it Twisted Sister with Dee Snider?
oh yeah, Twisted. Well, I mean, they were. I don't know. Twisted Sister were always sort of like they were trying to be like the equivalent of the New Jersey equivalent of the New York Dolls, right? So I
Okay.
guess in a sense they were like pioneers of glam, but I mean they definitely didn't fit as cleanly into it as everything that came after them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Uh,
Mm.
let's see. So, have you gone to very many concerts? Rock, metal, otherwise?
Oh man, I've gone to was it a bunch of local shows? I think I did like 3 or 4 of them last year, and I mean my music scene, it's kind of sort of coming back a little bit,
Oh,
but
that's
there
cool.
there was yeah, there was a point for maybe like the last 10 plus years that it was just in it was pretty much in a coma, as I like to
Yeah,
put it,
yeah.
because yeah, I guess a lot of people, moved to other cities, or they, stopped doing this stuff entirely. But
Right.
outside from that, I mean, I've gone to a few other shows, either within the same state or maybe one state over. Um, Not a lot of like really big names, at least not in terms of the kind of stuff that we was just talking about.
No, but like, still, like an underground show like that, like especially fucking metal, I bet, like it
Oh
must
yeah.
be like really fucking fun.
Oh yeah, it can be fun, provided that you know watch yourself and you don't get hit. Because I've had that happen to me a couple times. Nothing broken or
Oh
anything,
yeah,
no
yeah,
big bruises or anything. But I've definitely gotten knocked around a couple times.
yeah. No, people can be wild. Hey,
Oh
regular
god,
ass
yeah.
skeleton, how's it going, man? I only went to a Led Zeppelin tribute band and a Striper show. Oh, that's interesting. I've never.
Oh, Striper.
Striper they are an interesting footnote in glam metal history.
Yeah, that's that's a name I haven't heard of in a hot minute. Weren't they
think
supposed to be like
they're
this
still
whole
going
Christian
strong.
thing? I guess.
Yeah, they're like basically like Christian. They were like one of the earliest Christian metal bands.
Oh yeah.
Like very their aesthetic is so fucking visually obnoxious. Like the fucking yellow and black stripes.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. I kind of get this feeling that one of the guys must have thought, you know what Van Halen had going on, or at least what
Oh
Eddie had
yeah.
going on with his guitar. Let's do that, but let's change the colors a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there was some like Van Halen worship there. But
Oh,
alas,
definitely.
they worshiped the Lord more. What was I gonna say?
Yeah.
You know, for the series that I'm making, I listened to a few of their albums, and you know, the music is there. Like they had the
Mhm.
chops, they had the technical ability, they had like the songwriting. It's just, you know, the lyrics are some of the most stilted, preachy shit on the market, right?
Oh god. Yeah. I mean lyrics, and I probably want to say most of most 80s bands, especially glam and hair metal bands.
Well, yeah,
It is what it is.
Yeah. It's yeah. It's I guess that is a stones and glass houses sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can kind of compare it to a lot of pop music from like the 90s and onwards. I mean, there's like only so many ways you can write a love song.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Not gonna lie, I wish I could see Mudvayne and System of a Down. Oh yeah, that would have been cool.
Oh god, those two. Man, I still listen to those guys every now and then. Especially a bit of a System of a Down.
Oh yeah, no, System of a Down.
Those guys were interesting.
I love the Toxicity album. Like, that shit from back to front is just a stellar record. I personally was never, the biggest System of a Down fan, but I definitely can appreciate their early lineup. It's just been the same lineup throughout their entire history, but their early stuff, well through.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I need to listen to them further, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would probably say, if there's any System of a Down albums that you should listen to, it would be like the first three. They're self-titled, Toxicity, and Steal This Album.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think the other two was Mesmerize and Hypnotize. They've definitely gone a little bit more softer, I suppose, even though they've still had some... Yeah, definitely experimental, even though they still had some of their, crazy System of a Down shenanigans going on.
Yeah. I definitely love, I don't know. They have a great message. They have a great message in a lot of their songs. They have great riff ability. They have, I don't know. Serge Tankian's voice is a bit of an acquired taste, but it is very uniquely his.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any fun concert memories? Like any particular moments that stand out in your scene or and elsewhere?
All right. Well, there was one show that I remember going to about maybe 14 years ago, and this was actually the only time I ever got to see this band live because unfortunately they've broken up about 8 years ago, I think, and yeah, and I think part of it is due to with a few of the members, current and former, dying and all that kind of stuff, OD and whatnot, or even one. Yeah, going back to that show, towards the end of their set, bands, they're more kind of deathcore-ish. They're called King Conquer.
Oh yeah,
I saw those guys live one time and one time only, and I'm never gonna forget this moment. The very last song on their set before they played their final breakdown. The bassist, he was up there just letting the guitar and drums kind of do their thing, and the frontman was just hyping the crowd up. And I was actually fortunate enough to fist bump the bassist just right before they hit that final breakdown. I'm like, yes.
That's great. That's perfect timing.
Yeah, unfortunately, he died about I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago from sclerosis, I think.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he'd been dealing with that. Yeah, he'd been dealing with that shit for a long time.
Yeah,
I was fortunate enough to see those guys.
It's sad that we have all the, like you've been saying, there's a lot of musicians there's a lot of great musicians that we've lost that we can say, oh, R.I.P. that guy, but there's so many other local musicians that die that you have great memories with that you'll never really hear brought up in the same context. It's only you that really have that sort of cultural connection with them, and it's interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those. I really wish you would have been there to see it, sort of things. But,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, do you got anything like that?
I mean, recently. There, where I was from, I'm from Southeast Philadelphia sort of area. I used to there used to be this sort of local scene in like the Philly suburbs, that sort of area that I was. Hold on a second. Fuck. Sorry. For some reason, I had Facebook open. Yeah, no, I was in like, I guess kind of a scene-ish type thing. I've definitely gone to like shows with that sort of energy. Recently, living in New York City, I've had the opportunity there's this one band, they're trying to put together like sort of an alternative scene in like southern Brooklyn. And I've been able to go to, quite a few of the showcases they've put on. It's really fun energy getting to go there and, hang with the bands basically. And, they bring, a bunch of friends to come see them. It's, free cover charge. So like, it's
nice.
Great vibes, great energy. And yeah, sometimes, I think that like there was one time where, what was it? There was this like really intense punk band playing, and like there was a mosh pit going. one fucking guy was doing like fucking spin kicks and like flinging his arms all around, and it was nuts.
Oh god, I've seen my fair share of that kind of stuff at shows. I mean, I like that kind of music, but you'll never see me out there in the middle of that pit doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Partially because I'm fat, and I mean, I really don't want to make an ass out of myself. I just kind of stay along the rim of the pit. I mean, sometimes I might run the pit a few times, but I'm never right there in the middle, just doing all that fly swatting and ninja dancing or whatever it is that they're doing.
No, it's crazy. I like my good share of moshes, but when that happens, I just go to the edges.
Okay, yeah. Regular ass Skeleton mentioned something about Meshuggah, Guar with the Fuji vocalist Dave Brocky, and Snot with Len Straight. Oh yeah, I mean, of all those bands right there, I mean, I really haven't listened to that much Snot. I've heard a little bit of Guar. What's that album that they did that had was it Let Us Slay? I think that was the one that I probably listened to the most. But Meshuggah, on the other hand, oh god, I love those guys so much.
I need to listen to more Meshuggah. I'm only really familiar with Bleed, but like I'm sure
god, everybody is.
Yeah, I'm sure that they have like so much more killer technical shit like in their discography.
Oh man, yeah. What are some songs I could probably recommend from those guys? I'd say, was it Future Breed Machine? Let's see, Sublevels. Was it New Millennium Cyanide Christ? The Mouth Licking What You Bled, Sane. Yeah, what are some other ones I could probably mention? I mean, I'm kind of dipping back to some of their earlier stuff, like 1995 and beyond. Yeah, Bleed. Everybody knows that song, and that's one song. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and claim that I can play every single thing that Meshuggah puts out. Bleed,
right.
No. My wrist locks up whenever whenever the thought crosses my mind of, hey, do you want to try to learn that song? I'm like, no. I don't want to develop wrist problems, tendonitis, and carpal tunnel, and God knows what else. I mean, I know my limits at least.
I consider Destroy, Erase, Improve, and Nothing their best album. Are those Meshuggah's albums? Or?
Yeah, those are Meshuggah's albums.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to listen, if you want to listen to Nothing, I would recommend the re-recorded or remastered version, because that one actually sounds better from a mix perspective, and I think the songs sound a lot more complete there. I think it's the blue colored. Yeah, it's the blue colored one, not the orange one.
Okay.
Yeah, Destroy, Erase, Improve. I mean, I like a lot of Meshuggah's later stuff, but I mean, I'd say Destroy, Erase, Improve, and Chaos Sphere are like the two albums that I go back to almost all the time whenever I think about those guys.
I'll have to check it out. I'm really into that sort of heavy, proggish metal. Like, I love, kind of a different sound. They're more, I mean, Meshuggah's a lot more genty in some aspects.
Oh
but
yeah, gent.
I love like Opeth. A lot of Opeth shit is fucking amazing.
You know, I'm so. Have you listened to the latest album, Last Will and Testament?
I've been meaning to. I only heard like the one single they released from it. I know that they went back to screaming vocals.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I think me and almost everybody else that was, looking forward to a new Opeth album were just really happy about that. It's like, yes, Michael's doing the growls again.
Yeah.
But no. I mean, I don't mind. Some of their more cleaner prog rocky type of stuff, like and how do you pronounce that one? Inquadavenium or whatever.
I don't know.
it sounds kind of weird, but man, I love me some Opeth.
Yeah, no, I love the proggy stuff too. I practically grew up on prog rock, like basically after I got into rock band guitar here. I think it was like Rush was my gateway into that sort of shit. Then I told my dad one day, I was like, Rush are like the best prog rock band ever, and he was like, well, have you heard of Yes? And then I got into Yes super hard, and then from there it was just sort of a rabbit hole into like single song sided albums, and like the fucking 20-minute epics and the multiple time signature shifts and wild keyboard virtuosos, and it's insane music. I love it.
Yeah, it starts with Rush, and then you get Yes, you get King Crimson, and then
oh my god,
who else can I throw out here?
Tool, Dream Theater,
yes,
Phase Warning. I don't know.
And I really haven't listened to Fate's Warning, but I mean, I do love me some Dream Theater, but I don't think it'd be anything that I would actually play personally, because I think John Petrucci is just like.
Oh my god, he's
too
a
good.
Technical god.
Oh yeah, he is.
It's their choice to remaster whatever they want, but I can't get into the re-release, so I'll give them credit for making the song Nebulous slow. Oh,
okay. All right. Fun fact about that song in particular. I mean, I'm really, really bad about kind of hanging on to albums for a long time, but never actually going through and listening to the entire thing from start to finish.
Oh, yeah.
I remember, I think it was like the middle of last year, after watching another channel do like a Meshuggah albums ranking thing, and I think one of the dudes mentioned something about the song Nebulous, especially on the remastered version. I listened to that, I was like, oh god, this is I mean,
nice.
Why have I been sleeping on this for so long?
I gotta check it out. I like I said, definitely a lot of love for prog. Look, what else? Fucking like Porcupine Tree and Gojira. A lot of that heavy shit too.
Oh, Gojira, yeah. I mean, I
listen to a lot more Gojira and Mastodon too. Like those are two big prog metal bands that I've been meaning to earnestly explore for a while.
Oh, definitely Mastodon. I've been meaning to listen to some of their later stuff. I think I've got everything from Remission up till Crack the Sky, and I know a lot of people go nuts over Crack the Sky. It's like the album for those guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gojira, that's another band that, I mean, I really haven't listened to too much of them, but I kind of listened to enough of them to kind of get an idea of where damn near every single band that I listen to nowadays is getting some riff ideas from, especially that kind of scraping sound on guitar. I mean,
absolutely,
I'm guilty of doing that myself. It's so much fun.
Oh yeah. No, Gojira are great, and the fact that they got to do their whole metal thing on the facade of a fucking French castle for the Olympics is the most metal thing ever.
That is just, that is historic right there.
Oh my gosh.
Now that is one of those things that I really wish I would have been there myself to see it.
Yeah, no, that would have been cool. Like,
oh yeah.
I wonder what they're. I wonder what they're gonna do for the fucking LA Olympics, because the last time the Olympics were in LA, that was in 1984, well before like all like the metal really started to take off from the Sunset Strip and all that. But now that we have like the legacies of like Motley Crue, of fucking fucking
or worse.
Slayer, I mean, God forbid they get Motley Crue to fucking open the fucking Olympics. That is going to suck.
Oh man, I'm thinking of like one of two things. If they were gonna get another metal band just to open up the LA Olympics, I mean, I don't know if Metallica might be free, because I know they opened up San Francisco 49ers. Is it 49ers or is it Giants?
Yeah,
they open up those games almost all the time.
Oh yeah,
but,
I mean they did come from LA originally. They See, Metallica are interesting. They started out in one scene, moved up to another scene, then moved out to New York to record their debut album, which had itself another thrash scene where Anthrax was. And so they're kind of they're kind of the thrash metal band in a sense. They sort of had their toes in everybody's like friendship circles.
I mean, it's weird just to talk about thrash metal. I mean, yeah, I know a lot of those guys that you mentioned, they're pretty much rooted in thrash, but I feel like that every single one of them kind of has their own take on it. Slayer, I guess they're more punk oriented. They just like going fast.
Yeah.
I'd probably say stuff like maybe Anthrax or Testament. They definitely get a little bit more melodic and whatnot. Exodus, they're just ass beater after ass beater, because that's how they are.
Yeah.
And Metallica, I kind of feel like they're kind of in their own thing. I mean, yeah, they've had some fast stuff.
They're a lot more, I think,
like Master of Puppets and all that.
They're a lot more intentionally musical with it, because, and this is kind of backhanded praise of Lars Ulrich. He is a drum, but with the limited skills that he possesses on metal drums, I think Metallica consciously write their songs in such a way that accommodate him and best demonstrate what he can do well.
Oh yeah, just try to write with the drummer instead of just, well, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna play with this drum program a little bit, try to come up with some stuff. Oh wait, this is something that Lars can't play. Let's take out one of the kick drums, and then we'll see if we can do that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I feel like Red Hot Chili Peppers is going to be the main band for that could be possible. The Red Hot Chili Peppers are like basically like the California band.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a hot mess. I listened to Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, I think I put on like some of their tracks every now and then, but I don't make it a point to listen to them really. I have a friend who's like really into them. Like I think that they're one of the members in one of my other bands, but otherwise I don't know. I don't really listen to them too much.
Yeah, I mean, if it happens to come on, if I'm listening to it, it's usually because somebody else is playing it. And I think it's a part of a playlist that be going on or whatever. I mean, 1 minute I could be listening to something like, say, Californication, and then the next I could probably be, I don't know, either some modern pop country stuff, or I could get lucky and they might play some Alice in Chains.
Oh,
you never know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know. It would be cool if they had a metal act or a rock act or anything like that. Be also pretty cool, fucking cool if they, acknowledged like the influence of rap on the city, since the 90s and all that. But
oh yeah, rap. That's something else that I've been meaning to get into a little bit more. I mean, I've listened to my fair share of rap over the years. I mean, mostly some of the old school stuff. Maybe a little bit of Run DMC, a little bit of Snoop Dogg, a little bit of Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, and all that. And I guess Eminem and stuff like that. That's kind of where I sort of stopped, really.
No, that's understandable. I mean, there's the thing with rap is that nowadays there's just so many different sources that you can, drop a new album or mixtape or something like that on, right? Like
Oh yeah.
fucking SoundCloud, Bandcamp, YouTube, like everybody's upload like it's not to be all like rock takes real skill and instruments to write, but like it is easier, relatively speaking, to like write a rap song, an instrumental, rap over it, and like upload. It is a very accessible form of music. It's not like, and that's not a ding on its like artistic merits or whatever. It's just the facts that matter.
I mean, honestly, I don't mind just straightforward, simple music at times, but I mean, I'm kind of more reliant on the execution of said music.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like, I mean, yeah, you can do like just a simple, straightforward drum beat, but I mean, everything else has got to be good. I feel.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I guess that's why people latch on to bands like AC/DC if I'm willing on going that far.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, like. The funny thing is, I've been getting into, I don't know if you've heard of Yarg, the yet another rhythm game. It's like a fan-made rock band clone. I recently bought like a plastic guitar for myself. I think one of the recent guitars they released for Fortnite Festival, which is compatible with Yarg, funny enough. And
nice.
I downloaded a shit ton of like custom AC/DC charts. The thing with AC/DC for me, like, they were actually one of the earliest bands I got into. Like, even before rhythm games, like, I remember getting, like, super early on. My dad got me, like, Back in Black for my birthday, and, like, I got, like, with an allowance money, I got, like, High Voltage. And, it all sort of stemmed from, like, this Sonic X AMV that used TMT one time.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I've never actually heard of a Yarg, but I guess the only other sort of Guitar Hero clone that I'm kind of familiar with is Clone Hero.
Yeah, no, like that whole network of Clone Hero and Yarg, it's bringing back rhythm games, and it's super cool to see as somebody who was like super deep into them like back then. Rappers are wordsmiths, if you will. Producers make the beats. Exactly. It's like rap in production. It's like they're two distinct skill sets, and for one person to possess both, it takes a lot of practice to flex both muscles simultaneously.
Oh, definitely.
So welcome, Gunky Zip. Let's say. Oh yeah. So, what is your process when arranging video game music? Obviously, you've got quite a few covers on your channel. Do you try to stay as faithful to the mood of the original as possible, or do you like to add your own flair to things?
A little bit of both. I guess usually how it comes out is like, I don't know, say for example, the last one that I did, which was like the battle theme to Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. I mean, I swear that song has no right going as hard as it does, even though the game itself is just kind of eh. I mean, the only thing I thought of at first was, you know how like in the original song, it just simply starts off with a little drum fill, and it just goes right into that little rockin' beat. I mean, I kind of wanted to be a little bit more. I kind of wanted to draw the opening a little bit and just do like this big open, open string chord, and then just kind of go right into it.
Oh hell yeah!
I mean, yeah. Sometimes I kind of like to throw in little bits like that here and there, or if say in that same song where I guess that main riff's going on, and I decide, I just want to do like a little harmony to that in some spots to kind of make that section jump out a little bit. But I mean, I try to stay as close to the song as I possibly can. If you don't count me down tuning a few parts here and there, since I'm pretty bad about that, down tuning or up tuning or whatever.
Yeah, no, there's definitely there's definitely a real sort of craft that goes into like figuring out how to put an electric guitar into a video game track like that, right? Like
oh yeah,
what are the two guys that are like super big with like electric guitar and video? Like there's like Richard E.B. or
Oh,
something.
Richard E.B. and
Yeah, Richard E.B. and the who's the other guy that wears like the shades and like has the beard and all that?
The only two that I can think of, and I don't think one of them wears shades, is Toxic Exit Carnity and Family Jewels.
It might be
Those are some other guys that.
Yeah, I don't
those are
know.
some other guys I know of.
There's somebody that I'm thinking that I'm blanking on the name, but like it is a really cool skill to see like something that, you know, kicks ass in its original form with the sound fonts and all that translated into like rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Do you so kind of going off of that, do you try to compose originals from time to time?
I've tried off and on here and there, and it's honestly it's something I've been kind of working on a little bit myself. Is you know, just sitting there and just thinking like, all right, so I want to try to do something like this, but I mean, I usually, you know, I mean, I've kind of noticed with some stuff that I've tried doing. I mean, it usually comes out in like maybe 30-second or 1 minute bursts or so, but never like a full song or whatever. I mean, I'm just kind of with this sort of stuff.
No, I definitely relate to that. You know, it's hard having like, well, for one, being able to put your emotions to lyrics. I mean, in my case, I feel that it comes better when I'm writing for my own emotions. I feel it's hard to abstract, but like there is a lot of skill that goes into that. There's a lot of consideration that goes, a lot of mental energy that goes into, you know, considering an arrangement for an entire song too. Like I think I've only ever like written like two original songs, like lyrics and music, and I'm more of an ideas guy, if anything, right? Like I come up with
that's kind of how I am, really.
I come up with a good idea, or I demo it, and like I show it to my bandmates, and they help build off of it and turn it into like something pretty half decent, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's something else too, and it's I know this is gonna sound kind of sad, but I mean, I had been in a few bands in my time, but unfortunately, I've never actually sat down and tried to write some stuff that works with some of those bands. I mean, I'm not saying just sit down and just try to write something, you know, just for the sake of writing and say here you go.
Yeah.
It's more like, all right, so the kind of stuff that they're playing, I gotta try to come up with something that would actually work.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, I'm just blanking out the entire time, and it's just like, yeah. Honestly, trying to write some original stuff over there. I mean, for me, anyways, it feels like it's a bit of a roadblock, and even going, you know, listen to some earlier stuff that I was just kind of, you know, messing around with, and kind of plays on this whole, you know, as time goes on, you know, our tastes change and what. You know, we kind of look at things differently. We listen to things a little bit differently. I mean, I gone back and listened to some of my earlier stuff, and I'm just like, what the fuck did I try writing back then? Like, this is awful.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, song ideas come, song ideas go. It takes a lot of commitment to really develop them to a stage where, like, they really feel like, you know, solid.
Yeah, and, you know, the whole saying of, you know, you are your own worst critic, which I've been guilty of that many a times.
I think I'm the same for Marilyn Manson. Same with what? Was it?
Oh, Marilyn Manson.
That's a whole fucking basket case and a half. Fuck
yeah. I mean, the only time the first time I actually heard about Marilyn Manson was going back to that Mix CD from like many years ago. I mean, I don't know if I've still got it, or it might be at my old apartment or something, just buried in a filing cabinet somewhere. I'll have to go back and look at that, see if it's still there, and to see if it actually still works.
Yeah. Honestly, the only thing I really know him for is pissing off old conservatives back in the day, the beautiful people, and being a fucking freak that should probably see some sort of jail time.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard a lot of notoriety about this guy, and I guess the only two songs that I kind of know about him, and one of them is actually a cover. I mean, "Beautiful People" and was it "Sweet Dreams"? I mean, I think
Yeah, he did that.
that was the first song that I heard by Manson, long before
Right.
I realized that actually wasn't by Manson.
Uh huh. um. Uh, oh, so has your time doing like VGM arrangement, has that helped build any of your songwriting abilities?
It's funny you say that. And I think you might have touched on this before about how with some bands that we listen to, you're just kind of just sitting there, just trying to pick their brains and just trying to get an understanding of the way that certain things are meant to be played. Like, okay, so that's how that guy does it. I mean,
Yeah.
I picked up on a couple of techniques here and there, whether it be from just listening to bands and trying to mimic some of their stuff, or even listening to some of the video game stuff. Just hearing that, like, okay, so I guess that's how it's supposed to be there.
Yeah. It is really a fun process of like being able to analyze music and pick apart exactly like how it
hmm
how it sounds the way that it does. Harmony is beautiful like that.
Oh yeah. Especially when done right. I mean, I'm a sucker for a good harmony.
Uh, Talking about bands that I don't listen to their albums fully. Oh yeah, no, Marilyn Manson was always one of those people like that for me too, where I only ever really regarded his hits or anything like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
uh, uh, what instruments would you learn if you had the spare time? Obviously you play guitar. Do you also do bass?
I do play a little bit of bass every now and then, but it's not really a main focus.
That's fair.
One instrument that I would like to learn, and God help my fingers, maybe, is keyboards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
we'll sit there and play some piano or some cool synth passages and whatnot.
absolutely. It's funny, I think I've made this observation a few times on stream by now, but like the piano is considered a percussion instrument, and I like to consider myself not just a drummer, but a percussionist overall. I like to sort of dabble myself in
Oh yeah.
like I don't know, like back in college I took like one semester of like lessons on timpani and marimba even.
Oh
But
yeah.
the thing with fucking piano, it's like that's far more coordination with my fingers than I have ever been used to. So I don't know if
Oh, definitely. It's
I I don't know if I have the energy to sit down and commit to that the way I do like any other percussion instrument.
Oh man, yeah, like you said, piano is probably one of the most percussive instruments out there. I mean, I think it's like one of the most dynamic instruments out there because
Absolutely.
there's like so many things you can convey depending on how hard or how soft you hit those keys.
hmm It's a perfect
I mean,
instrument.
since I guess it really doesn't matter as much depending on what kind of sound it is that you're playing, though. But piano, it's very responsive.
hmm Yeah, no, I love the like you see, I wish, getting into this conversation, I wish I knew a bit more exactly mechanically of how pianos work, but the whole aspects of the mallets and connecting with the strings and the
hmm
vibrations, like giving, like, like sort of having that control with it, it really is like sort of the all-encompassing, like melodic, rhythmic, harmonic, dynamic instrument.
Oh yeah.
No wonder there's so much like classical music written for it, and no wonder no wonder people try to include it in bands on the regular.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, stuff like Beethoven, Bach, Mozart, and whatnot. They were definitely ahead of their time there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel.
You listen to much classical music at all, or?
Not really. Well, not intentionally. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
maybe if a classical passage happens to gets lumped into a song somewhere.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll listen to it.
Yeah, I used to be like bigger into classical music back when I was in college, if anything. But like,
Oh yeah.
I still definitely have an appreciation for the Romantic period classical composers like fucking Strauss, Mahler,
Hmm.
Liszt. So much dynamism and like sonic textures conveyed through like their part writing, their orchestration. It's fun. It's phenomenal music. Like
Oh
impressionism
yeah.
too. Like stuff like Debussy. Like if you ever listen to any of his piano etudes or any of his like I think tone poems like La Mer. Like fantastic, very very visually evocative music.
Oh yeah. I might have to go back and listen to some of that. All right. So, what are my thoughts on Limp Bizkit? Because I think Wes Borland is a good guitarist. All right. I'm gonna sound like that guy though, but I have been kind of sort of getting into a little bit of a Limp Bizkit. I mean, I've only got one album
That's
by
fair.
those guys, and that is was the Chocolate Starfish. And
Yeah.
I think Wes is a really good guitarist. He's definitely better than what his band, what is the current band? Uh,
I will say
yeah.
about Limp Bizkit, I can't really see them as anything more than like sort of a meme, but at the same time, there are quite a few slappers to their name. You know,
Oh yeah.
I won't deny the energy of Rollin'.
Oh god. Sometimes, if it's just me in the room, and if that song happens to come on, I gotta do the arm thing.
Oh my god, fucking.
Okay, all right. Anybody, even you, Rezi, have you ever listened to a song and a certain part of it just comes up, and you just feel like you're just really getting into it, like again with the whole Limp Bizkit rolling bit, with the arm movement.
Fucking hell. I have to say, I think it's so funny how Fred Durst basically used his clout as a major touring musician, able to get his songs on like video game soundtracks to also simultaneously fucking cameo in fighting games throughout the 2000s. No, it's true. Like, go to like Matt McMuscle's channel. He's got like an entire, I think, series on that.
Yeah, I think I might have heard of Matt McMuscles.
Oh, he makes great stuff. He does like a lot of great, like, sort of video game history deep dives, that sort of stuff. What was it gonna?
Oh god, that was from like 5 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, no. Are there what was I gonna say? So like, who are the most influential musicians on your playing personally, on like what you do, like compositionally or like technically?
Man, who exactly do I look up to for inspiration for my kind of playing? I guess a few of those other bands that I've kind of listed before. I'd say Slipknot was the one that kind of sort of pushed me to want to play guitar for real this time, and then. Another band I mentioned, Fear Factory. Dino Cazares, he's got like a mean right hand, and I'm trying my hardest to keep up with that guy. So I guess that kind of helps me in a rhythm sense. God, who else? I'd probably say, and I know I'm gonna sound like the kind of guy, but I'd probably say Dimebag Darrell from Pantera.
Hell yeah!
At least for creating just groovy riffs. I'm a sucker for a good groovy riff every once in a while.
Dude, he was like a fucking once in a generation guitarist. I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
he came up in like the whole Van Halen, Ace Frehley sort of 70s guitar superstar era of learning the guitar.
Hmm.
And you know, from very early on, obviously he was aping those guys and trying to be like his own sort of, I guess, advanced technical hair metal guitars for the 80s. But then he started getting into thrash, and that really, you know, dirtied up his playing as he got even, you know, deeper into like listening to that, listening to like southern rock, Texas, good old Texas boogie music, and
Oh
that all
yeah.
just sort of meshed together to create basically the tapestry of metal guitar playing as we know it today.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm also a sucker for just some good straightforward '90s grooviness. Whether it be some stuff from White Zombies, Astro Creep 2000, or maybe like the first two Machine Head albums. I
Oh
mean,
fuck yeah,
I just
Machine
like
Head.
that kind of stuff.
Have you listened to the Blackening? Do you like the Blackening?
Okay, so funny thing, that's
Yeah.
actually one of my all-time favorite albums, and that was the
Oh,
very
hell
first
yeah.
album that I listened to whenever I got into these guys, because long before I discovered, hey, people can actually put stuff up on YouTube and music videos and all that kind of stuff. My mom had a digital cable at the
Oh
time,
yeah, yeah.
and there was this bunch of channels. I think it's called Music Choice or whatever. It's kind of like Sirius XM before Sirius XM became a thing. And they had a couple of different genres on there. They had some of the pop stuff by certain times. They had the oldies, they had rock, they had alternative, and then of course they got metal. And I'd say 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty much stuck on the metal channel. And I remember hearing, I think it was Aesthetics of Hate for the first time, and I'm just like, oh, this is some good shit right here. And sure enough, in the months or years afterwards, I started listening to more and more of them, and I'm just like, yeah.
That entire album.
That album is that album's just god tier. I feel
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Great Southern Tranquil. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'd also probably say, going back to the whole influences thing, I'd probably say, as controversial as the guy, gets every once in a while. I mean, I'd say Rob Flynn was another one that's kind of helped my guitar playing, mainly because I'm really guilty of doing the natural harmonic stuff. I mean, I like that kind of stuff. This little interesting tags and riffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Great Southern Tranquil is probably my favorite Pantera record out of their discography. I agree. I know that it's it can be a bit abrasive, it can be a bit harsh, but like,
oh yeah,
I think there's a lot to love there. That's, I don't know. I think its ugliness is its greatest strength. Where I definitely appreciate like Cowboys from Hell, fucking Vulgar Display, and
Far Beyond Driven.
Yeah, Far Beyond Driven. Like I love those 3 albums, but like fucking Great Southern Tranquil is just unrelenting from back to front. Maybe, I mean, this is definitely exposing my lack of knowledge of like more underground metal genres, but it's probably one of the ugliest like mainstream metal albums to be as successful as it was.
Oh no, I get you. I mean, especially wasn't hearing the lyrics, some of their songs. Like, I want to say it's I think it's War Nerve, where some of those little mini tirades he goes on before that sort of breakdown bit hits. But there's 2 things I gotta say about Pantera. Number one, I mean, those other albums that you mentioned, Cowboys from Hell, Great Southern Tranquil, Far Beyond Driven, and Vulgar Display of Power. I mean, I don't know which one of those is my favorite, because I listen to all those, quite often whenever I get the chance.
Right.
And the other thing about Pantera, and this is probably the most fucked up thing ever, is that same year, just a couple of months removed, was when I was starting to get into metal. And Pantera was actually one of those bands. And then sure enough, a couple months afterwards, We all know about that story there.
Right.
That's like, yeah,
That
that's
is
like
awful
really,
timing.
really bad. Yeah, it is. I mean, I like to think that I've got such a horrible sense of timing right over there, not music wise, but still, just the time I was getting into that, and a couple months later, that happened. It's like, man.
And it sucks that his brother passed away like several years after that point too. Like there's like the Abbotts were the heart and soul of Pantera, and now they're just gone.
Yeah.
And like,
rest in peace to both Dimebag and Eddie Hall.
And like, I get like Phil Anselmo and Rex Brown if they want to go and like continue on like playing in their own sort of makeshift Pantera. I get their desire, but I don't. It's not the same. Really. It's not the same, and I feel like it really just sort of like tarnishes like that sort of like family band aesthetic of it that the Abbotts really brought to it.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, I really don't know what else I can compare that to. I mean, I wish I could say something about Van Halen, but honestly, I mean, the kid's got chops for days. I'm not in that.
Hello, RC. Lou Reed, Metal Machine music. Oh my God, Metal Machine music. I have never listened to that all the way through. I feel like that's just sort of a meme. Are you familiar with Metal Machine music?
Not really.
It's an album that Lou Reed essentially recorded to get out of his contract back in the mid-70s. He basically just recorded an entire album of feedback.
So, isn't he technically the one that started the whole noise genre?
I mean, it was basically like he was very much a pioneer in like indie, alternative, all of that sort of stuff with like the Velvet Underground, like, because they were a very they were a very esoteric, sort of artsy band that really kicked off a lot in the 60s and 70s. But I feel like I don't know. It's hard to say what Lou Reed's total legacy is now.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that time he hooked up with Metallica.
To be fair, he was the table.
I'm the table. Godfather to the 9 Inch. Oh, okay. 9 Inch Nails is the band that I've listened to a little bit here and there in passing, but I kind of want to go back and listen to some more, actually.
I appreciate 9 Inch Nails, though. I really haven't listened to too much of the discography past Downward Spiral. I know The Fragile is supposed to be a really good album, too, and I have heard like a few good things from that, but I don't know. I just 9 Inch Nails is a band that I feel like I get this way with a few other artists where they have such like a big lore, such a wide range of like releases and even like unofficial bootleg things on YouTube that you need to like take account of, that it's like getting into One Piece essentially. And it's like I don't know. It feels lazy to say I don't have the time for that, because like what better time than now to start, but like at the same time it's just like brother, there are so many other things so many other experiences I want to have in my life, and I don't know if I have the guts or the commitment to commit all to one artist right now, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know if I could probably say the same thing about Buckethead, because I noticed you go on his Bandcamp or Spotify or whatever it is, and you look him up. He's got like hundreds, if not thousands, of EPs and albums, and God knows what else. I mean, that guy's just like constantly writing, and I mean he's he's something else.
Buckethead is insane. Like what was I gonna say? I only know him for fucking Jordan, that bonkers ass
God,
chart
yeah.
in Guitar Hero 2, but like
I think everybody does.
I could never. I don't know. I feel like he's a guitarist's guitarist, in that the only people that are super passionate into him are those that really want to like become him, in a sense. Like,
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
just write some of the craziest shit you can.
Yeah. But
I mean, he's had his soft bits, like was it Electric Tears? I mean, I think that's the only Buckethead album that I've got, and it's pretty damn good. I'd say.
interesting. I have to wonder, like, how do you write like thousands of pieces of music on electric guitar? I feel like a lot of that is just like jamming at a certain point.
Probably. I mean, I'm just sitting here wondering, how the hell can you write like 10 songs in a day? I mean, it sounds like that's the rate that this guy's going at.
Yeah, well,
Steve Vai, Adrian Belew. Oh God, Steve Vai. I need to listen to some more of Steve Vai, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Steve Vai, he's an interesting guitarist. He has been around the block quite a while. He played for Frank Zappa, he played for fucking David Lee Roth, he played for Whitesnake, and of course, all of his solo albums, which I haven't really bothered to dig into that much.
I think Steve also had a thing going on with was it Alcatraz?
He might have. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not that familiar with Alcatraz. He might have done. Was that after, like, I think didn't they have Young Vay Malmsteen?
Yeah, I think they only had him for like their first album, and
yeah.
I don't know if he either left or he got the boot, and then they asked Steve like, "Hey, come on in, play for us," and sure enough, that happened.
He's a really fascinating guitarist, Steve Vai.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only other guitar guy that I listen to more often than that would have to be Joe Satriani.
Yeah.
Right on cue, man. I say something about it, and it's just like I'm just waiting for that moment to bring him up.
The Surfing with the Alien guy.
Yeah, definitely. Surfing with the Aliens. It's a really, really good album right there.
Enter the Chicken by Buckethead is a good starter album. Interesting.
Joe is unreal.
I'll have to put that down. I'm sorry, every time it seems like I'm moving over and just sort of speaking to myself, I have this sheet of music that I like to write down like little suggestions on for my chat and guests.
Yeah, good idea to keep track of all that kind of stuff. But no, going back to talking a little bit about 9 Inch Nails. I mean, apart from the whole metal thing, I've been wanting to get into doing some more industrial kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That is something I'm still trying to wrap my head around, especially doing all those soundscapes and stuff. It's like you got so much to work with, but I just don't know where to start.
What kind of DAWs and plugins do you use right now? Like, are you experimenting in the same software that you use, like, you do your video game covers in?
Well, let's see. I think for the DAWs, I'm just using Reaper. I've pretty much been using that for about as long as I can remember. I think damn near everybody and their grandmother uses that.
Yeah.
I mean, if not that, then either Cubase or Pro Tools if you're rich. But no, for the plugins and other kind of stuff that I use for my tones and whatnot, I'm just kind of all over the place, really, especially with the guitar stuff. I mean, one minute I could be using a simulation of a PV5150. Next minute I could be using something of a JCM 800. It's just like, I mean, I kind of like to mix it up a little bit depending on what I think the song calls for and just what I like listening to, or what tones I actually like hearing.
That's absolutely. I do my own music covers time to time. I haven't really manned the board for that in a bit, but at the same time, there's just like, I don't know.
Oh, Godflesh. That's one I need to go back and listen to. Street Cleaner.
Oh
Yeah.
I admit I'm not the I don't know. I'm not the most knowledgeable when it comes to industrial music. I know a bit about Ministry. You know, Ministry's got some good shit, but
Oh yeah.
I don't
Psalm
really
69.
uh-huh. Yeah, otherwise I don't know. I like Nine Inch Nails is probably the closest band that I'm like is like I don't know, is a very industrial band that I listen to with frequency. Though my mom, she was like super into KMFDM some years back.
Oh yeah. Man, it's funny. There was one cover that I did a few years ago. I think it was something from Fantasy Star 4,
Oh
and I think
yeah.
I had someone in the comments say, "Dude, this sounds like a KMFDM," and I'm just sitting there like, I've never really sat down and listened to those guys, but thanks.
Nice.
uh,
Uh
yeah, I don't think I've ever really gotten comparisons like that before. At least I don't think so.
Speaking of grunge, what are your thoughts on the Melvins? I've not really. See, the thing with the Melvins, I think a while ago, a long time ago, I listened to one of their 90s albums. Like, I think my dad had a few Melvins CDs back in the day that I listened to, but I think I remember liking them, but I don't know, I haven't really delved too deep into the Melvins.
Yeah, same here. I've never really listened to the Melvins, and even then, grunge is something I really haven't dived that much into. I'll save for some of the usual suspects. You know, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots. You know, Stone Temple Pilots, believe it or not, was actually a more recent listen for me.
They got some good stuff. I like Core. I think Core is a great album.
Oh yeah, it is. Just for the love of God, dude. I mean, if you invite me to a karaoke bar and if you put on Plush, try. It'll take more than the power of God to pull me away from that microphone, because I'm probably gonna butcher. What was it? Was it Scott?
Interstate Love Song.
Oh God, yeah, Interstate Love Song. Rizzy!
On a summer day.
on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh gosh. R.I.P. Scott Weiland.
Singing. Oh yes, yeah. Singing is something I've never really been all that great at. I mean, I kind of do it every now and then just for fun, but I've never actually sat down and just try to record myself actually singing anything.
Singing it can be a very intimidating thing for sure. I only really found my singing voice, I guess, once I started doing choir in starting in middle school. That's when I found out that I was a tenor two, which, if you don't know in classical terminology, that's basically the lower tenor, the one that can't quite hit the the higher notes that a man can hit.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, you kind of sit in this lower mid range, I guess.
Kind of, yeah. But what was it? I took I like to think I took singing pretty seriously in high school. I used to do sort of the competitive district level onto regional level onto state level choir thing. I used to. I took vocal lessons in college for maybe a semester or two, but then I eventually refocused all my efforts to learn drums. And that's not to say I can't sing anymore. I'd like to think I still can carry a tune. It's just, I don't know. At a certain point, I decided to commit more to one instrument than the other.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. I mean, I guess how I kind of found out, about my singing capabilities or lack thereof was just out of sheer boredom. I was sitting in my room one day. I was just listening to some Faith and More. I mean, Mike Patton. He's a hell of a singer.
Oh yeah.
I think it was the album Angel Dust that I was listening to. You got songs like Midlife Crisis, Land of Sunshine, RV, Easy. I'd catch myself singing some of those, and I'm just sitting there like, maybe. maybe I could try this.
Yeah. No, I need to get into more Faith No More. I've heard nothing but like good things about them and like Mr. Bungle.
Yeah, Faith No More is an interesting band. Mr. Bungle, from the small little bit that I've heard, it's it's something else.
No, I've heard it's like really abrasive, sort of experimental stuff, and it's interesting. glad.
Oh yeah.
Listen to the first 3 albums of Mr. Bungle. Yeah, I don't know. I need to. There are a bunch of other like alt bands of the '90s that I'm not too terribly familiar with their discographies, but like I'm definitely a grunge guy. I definitely love like other bands like personally for me, 1994. You go back and listen to you go back and see like all the albums released there. It's a fucking stacked year for music.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. So, okay. So what inspired you to become a VTuber?
Well, I'd probably say, and this is gonna sound a little bit weird, that I kind of watched or I kind of heard about the whole VTubing thing about late 2021, early 2022. I guess when it was really starting to take off. A couple of buddies of mine were posting or at least talking about some of the more OG VTubers like Subaru and whatnot. Botan. But I'd probably say that the one that kind of made me want to, well, actually, there's 2 things that kind of made me want to try VTubing, and one of them was from a VTuber, Shoto.
Oh,
yeah. The other thing that kind of made me want to try VTubing, and this is going to sound really weird, is that I was at this point, it was like late December of 2022, actually, when I was talking on my channel at one point saying, like, all right, I decided I'm just going to go through this one game. I'm going to stream it, and when I'm done with that, I'm just going to be done with streaming entirely.
yeah.
But as the days started counting down, and thanks to a couple of other guys in another Discord server that told me about Vroid, and I downloaded that. I was messing around with that, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try that and see how that goes, and it just kind of went from there, I guess.
And here you are now, and I was gonna say,
yeah, VTubing for me has been kind of probably say maybe a little bit all over the place. Yeah, believe it or not, I actually did consider on just quitting VTubing outright sometime early, not last month, but the month before that.
yeah.
And of course, me being the guy that I am, I just had to get that thing stuck in the back of my head, like, hey, you should try that again.
Hey, I mean, it can be. I confess, it can be a very a very stressing profession, especially if you want to, make it your primary source of income, right? Like I see, like these VTubers constantly working to stream on multi-platforms and like make regular social media posts that engage their followers, and like I'm just sitting here and I'm like, I am just one cat boy. I have the energy to script when I can. I have the energy to shit post on Blue Sky and give updates to my community, and like the thing with me, on my VTubing journey, and I'm sure you felt this too, like starting off as a VTuber, especially when you're just getting into like learning how to stream and all that. It can be a challenge building up a following naturally, because like I don't know, I don't naturally know how to like hold a conversation with no people, right? Which is what kind of
Oh
what
god.
streaming entails in those days. And
You know,
so
I,
it was
I
like,
I can relate to that so hard. I mean,
yeah,
even then, going back to the whole streaming thing, I guess the reason why I said that I wanted to, quit streaming entirely is because I mean, I tried that off and on a couple times over the
right,
past
right,
few years, and it's like nothing came of it. So I figured,
yeah,
one more time, and then I got into this, and then yeah, I totally get you about the whole just trying to hold a conversation with hardly anybody there. I mean, I've seen that happen many, many times, and
yeah.
and even then, and even then, I'd like to think I'm kind of, I want to say reserved. I mean, I don't try to actively go out of my way to say like, hey, I want to, do a collab with this guy or whatever
Yeah,
it is. Or I
yeah.
just want to make some big, big posts saying like, got this coming up or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, exactly. I feel that, I'm a guy that likes to keep to myself too, it's hard to really like, I guess, build a community naturally on social media like that, but
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's
I mean, I think that's the one problem that I think I've always had when anything is just how am I going to be able to sell myself?
mhm.
I mean I guess that's kind of my thing. It's like how am I going to try to convince this guy to come watch me or come follow me or whatever it is, see all the
Mhm.
great shit that I've been doing, which ain't much.
Yeah, yeah. I let's say, I don't know. I'm glad that I eventually sort of focused in on what I wanted to do with this channel, which was essentially, I decided, and I think, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. It looks like you've kind of made a decision recently too with your edited Let's Plays. Like, I got a lot of joy
Oh,
out of going to the like to the doc, like editing doc, and sort of experimenting with that. I don't know.
uh-huh.
I kind of decided, I have a lot of love for like telling it stories, like untold story, not untold, but like sort of
Like
obscure
inside scoop
stories.
things. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
obscure stories and not well, underappreciated stories in rock
Yeah, yeah,
history.
yeah.
Because the thing with topics like hair metal and like Kiss is peak success in the 70s and 80s. There's a lot of people that talk about it, sure, but like not too many people like to take too close of a microscope to all of the moving parts of things. And so I thought,
Yeah, you
I'm
just
going
want
to
to do like a deep dive in a lot of the stuff. It's like here's
yeah,
some of the stuff that some of the bigger guys aren't really telling you.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like a flex or anything, but it's like
yeah, no, it's like
all the mainstream stuff, all the stuff that got them the kind of publicity or whatever it is. I mean, that's cool, but here's some behind the scenes stuff on top of that.
yeah, yeah. And so I really just sort of thought, I don't know. The thing with being a VTuber these days, especially, like all the old models that sort of raised, the people that inspired us. It's not that they don't necessarily work, but it's like they've been tuned to such a fine degree where the whole model of variety streaming and hoping that you get big, it requires a whole lot more. I don't know. It's not the sort of thing that anyone can pick up and do and get guaranteed success from. It's only you get what you put into it, and
Yeah,
if you want to be like a sort of a hobbyist that does this sort of thing, on the side and hope it gets big, I think there's no shame in that either. Like that's sort of been what I've been running on these past few years.
I mean, I don't know if this might be a good enough comparison, but I could probably say that that's kind of on par with let's say like getting a band together.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
yeah, do you want to do this kind of stuff just for fun, or do you actually want to go the extra mile and all right, I want to get in this big studio here. I want to record like the best thing we possibly can. I want to score this sweet contract. I want to go on these big tours. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much, whatever you put in is what you're gonna get out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the fun fact thing about you mentioned wasn't the Let's Plays and that kind of stuff. Long before I did this whole VTubing thing, I think for about as long as I've actually had this channel now, which is coming up on 14 years, I'd say.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I used to be in the whole Let's Playing scene, quote unquote. I mean, again, we was just kind of doing our own thing, and yeah, not a lot came from that, but I remember, I guess in the 5 or so years that I've been doing that, I remember actually having quite a bit of fun. And quit back in 2016, but I guess in the years from there up until now, it's just been kind of sitting in the back of my mind, like do I want to do this again? And if I do, when is this going to be the right time to do it? I guess it was recently I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna do it and see what happens.
Honestly, respect. I see a lot of smaller creators nowadays. Like, there's this weird thing that happens with my YouTube feed sometimes. I don't know if it happens with you too, where like it recommends me like these really absurdly small channels, and I'll see like these Let's Plays like from people just doing it for their own fun, their own like, I don't know, playing around. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of pretension behind it, and I think that's great. That's what YouTube used to be, like a bunch of people just going up there and sharing their experiences.
Yeah, honestly, I mean that's kind of how I view the whole VTubing thing as well. Well, VTubing and YouTubing, I should say. It's just we're just doing this kind of stuff just for fun. I mean, if you guys want to, if you guys like the kind of stuff that I do, then hey, you're more than welcome to ride along with me. Still, I mean, I'm just doing this kind of stuff just for fun. And video game music stuff, that's purely just for fun.
I think for me, I value the community aspect of it the most. I love having my own little sort of side community of people who appreciate my musical opinions and want to hear more of them, Let's see. Do you have any dream goals or collabs in the VTuber community?
Man, collabs. Honestly, I really haven't thought that much on who I'd like to do a collab with, and even then, I don't know what it would be, and I don't know how much of a train wreck it'll probably be. But...
Well, to be honest, there is no shortage of like VTubers who would work with like a metal musician. I know my good friend Nordiboshi Ariel. She composes like idol music that's very metal inspired. So I don't know. There's definitely creators out there who could use a guitarist.
And you know what, the fun fact, there was a point where I kind of sort of considered on again, I guess it kind of goes back to the whole, being able to actually create stuff, some original stuff. I mean, if I actually had that kind of capability, I would have maybe just offered my services like, hey, anybody need a little starting screen background music thing or whatever?
Just and all that.
Doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, commission work definitely seems like a lucrative gig if you can get it. I had like a commissioner just come on my stream just last week. It was like a songwriting commissioner, and they definitely it can definitely be a lucrative business if you're able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'd probably say that'd be one of my dream goals right over there is to be able to make some stuff for other VTubers. Don't know when or if that'll be a thing, but stranger things have happened, I guess.
Do you what do you hope to have? What sort of impact do you hope to have ultimately on the VTuber community, if any?
Honestly, I don't think I'd see myself leaving that much of a mark on VTubing as a whole. But I mean, honestly, I'm just kind of looking to do this kind of stuff just for fun.
Hey,
meet some
yeah.
good friends along the way. I mean, I think that's how it should be. I mean, that's just me.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I relate hard to that because while I do eventually want to have some sort of want to leave some sort of mark as a VTuber video essayist. At the end of the day, I'm just
Oh yeah.
I love the ride. I love getting to meet the VTubers that I have. I love getting to talk music with other people, like thousands of strangers on the internet. It's a really cool feeling.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And let's see. Oh damn. I think I've got just about one more question here, or at least one that wasn't answered by our conversations before.
Oh, okay.
With the world as it is right now, I've sort of been asking my guests, what sort of music do you turn to in times of stress? Like, do you prefer like more emotional music, more cathartic music? What sort of mood do you prefer?
I'd probably say maybe something that feels a little bit more cathartic, because you know me. I'm pretty much like the metal guy at this point. I mean, I pretty much have that shit ingrained in me right now. But
yeah.
I mean, to me, it's always a cathartic thing. Well, depending on who it is that I listen to.
No, absolutely. Metal definitely helps with letting out some steam, in my experience, especially at the gym.
Oh yeah, definitely.
God bless. Well, honestly, the weird thing about the gym for me, recently I've been, I don't know, I've been leaving more video essays on while I work out. Like I watch, videos and stuff on the treadmill, but then I don't know, like I feel sort of, I want to learn more about like what's in the video or whatever. So I continue listening and watching while I work out, and I need to sort of break that habit because I need to listen to more of the music in my videos for one, but also just there's a lot of music on this list that I've been writing down, and I need to eventually get to it at some point so I can share with my thoughts with my audience. Maybe with things as as chaotic as they are now, I can turn my attention more to that to soundtrack my gym playlists at some point.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you, I definitely hit the gym myself. I'm getting a little bit chubby.
All in due time, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's basically all I've got. Do you have any questions that you want to ask? Or
all right. Okay, so going back to music, to anybody in here, guilty pleasures. Who's got some?
See,
like, what is the one artist or band that I don't know, you kind of sort of don't want people to know that you listen to in a way.
See, it's hard for me because I don't know, like I was saying earlier, I try not to attach too much ego to music, but at the same time,
yeah.
I don't know. That is a damn good question. Honestly, I think Nickelback's had maybe like one or two good songs that I might like, but I would probably never admit to publicly.
Yeah, I mean, funny thing is, another buddy of mine that I work with. I mean, he likes seeing a lot of the classic metal and stuff like that, and he he does listen to stuff like Creed and Nickelback every once in a while. He even told me like, dude, you should you should sit down and listen to some Creed or some Nickelback sometime. But I mean, as far as Nickelback goes, stop after or before whatever Dark Horse or whatever that album is. I'd probably say, hey, what's up?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, but I'd probably say my one guilty pleasure band, and I mean, I guess the way I'm saying it probably doesn't sound like that much of a guilty pleasure, but despite how much I really don't care for a lot of modern pop and that kind of stuff, like Imagine Dragons and whatnot, I'd probably say Sleep Token would be my one guilty pleasure band, because I mean, they do the metal stuff every once in a while, but like 90% of their stuff is just like a lot of pop music it's basically pop music with heavier guitars.
Right, yeah.
And I have caught myself, I mean, like with Faith No More, I have caught myself singing along to some of their stuff badly because I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to hit those same ranges like that guy does. I mean, he goes high.
Yeah.
And some of their songs are kind of catchy though.
I'll have to give them a fair shake at some point, because I hear a lot about them. Not necessarily good all the time, but like they're kind of. It's one of those bands you either love them or you hate them. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, when I first heard about those guys, I really couldn't get into them. I don't know, maybe the guy that brought them up might have posted the wrong song, and it just kind of left me with that next kind of impression. But I know it was like a couple days after Christmas back in 2023 that I decided, you know what, I'm gonna give these guys a chance, and it took a few months of just trying to wrap my head around this kind of stuff, and then I'm listening to them.
That's how it starts. Like Weird, a Young Gog, and similar rap. People, especially in anime VTuber community, have interesting. I'm not sure. I don't know if I would agree or disagree with that, but like, I feel like rap is definitely in a weird spot in the VTuber community.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know that many people, whether it be anime fans or other VTubers that I know of, that just outright hate rap. I mean, there was
out there. Like I don't know.
Oh yeah,
because with how frequently Callie gets shit on every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, there was one guy that I talk to every now and then. I mean, he listens to practically a little bit of everything. He listens to country, he listens to rockabilly, psychobilly, he listens to metal, he listens to rap, he listens to K-pop. It's just like I said, he's everything basically.
Right.
And I think he turned me on to another. I don't know what you could really describe this guy as. I want to say it's kind of like rap in a way, but he's kind of got like a certain style to him, a certain aggressiveness. I think his name is Kamara, I think.
Right.
And there's another guy. I know he did a collab with him. I just can't remember what his name is. I probably have to look that up real quick.
Interesting.
Savage Gas, but that's the other dude.
I see.
Yeah. Pink Guy's songs. What's his name now? Joji or something?
Joji, yeah. Oh my god.
Oh god. Yeah, one of my friends listens to a little bit of Joji every now and then.
I should give his music a fair shake. It's interesting that he was one of the few like YouTubers to really break out of that mold and into like the mainstream pop industry. Like, I gotta respect that talent, even if I find his work before that to be quite a bit wild.
Yeah, questionable or so. I mean, all the crazy shit that he's done in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is. It's kind of interesting. Like they know you're for one thing, but the second you just do a 180 and go do something else, it's like, oh.
Yeah, absolutely. Merton, this has been a fantastic conversation. Where can people best find you on? Do you want me to link your YouTube or your Blue Sky or?
Yeah, you can drop my my YouTube channel. I mean, it's right there in the video description. Merton_VG_metal. If you guys are into that sort of thing, if you like some good video game music, being butchered horribly by yours truly, then definitely check that out.
Of course, I'm also people.
No, but I'm also on Blue Sky. My handle's Merton6505.bsky.social. I kind of threw the numbers on there because I'm a bit of a guitar gear nerd, so I had to throw a number on something. Yeah. Want to go and post that in there?
Oh, no, it's fine. I can, if you want me, I can drop your Blue Sky real quick.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, it's been quite a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, no. Thank you for the conversation, Merton. It was it's really good, and thank you everybody in chat who attended today. Really, always glad to see a lively discussion amongst y'all. And let me see. I've set the stream to redirect to one of my good friends, Kendra. So if you guys would like to join me in saying hi to her before I go off to probably make a little quick a little late night dinner, I'm going to be saying the message Cat Raid.
Cat Raid. Oh yeah, Egg. I actually did have an X at one point, but I've pretty much abandoned that.
Yeah. No, I'm
pretty much for the same reason everybody else. I'm pretty much strictly Blue Sky.
I'm in the same court. I only use my X nowadays to like shitpost and snipe at people. It's okay. I'm probably gonna delete it at some point, but I'll have to let you guys know about that. But in any case, thank y'all for coming once again. I'll probably give some more updates soon on the Glam Metal Part 2 script. It's almost done, and I'm gonna be posting that hopefully real soon. Stay tuned for that. I'm going to go get some I'm gonna go make some dinner, get some grub. Y'all have a good night, and I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Hope you guys had fun.